I'm Rod Thompson and I'm the owner and managing director of Bendigo Pottery. My day begins with a walk around the factory, checking in with all the employees to see if they need anything to assist them that day and how the job is going. Then come back to the office, check emails, and then it starts, depending on what the emails have in them, as to what I'm doing for the rest of the day, whether it's on the phone, ordering product, talking to customers, solving problems in the factory, scheduling deliveries and such. So very much all-rounder. To me, an entrepreneur is someone who looks for new ideas and really tries to develop traditional businesses in new directions. When we took over the business, it was predominantly manufacturing and retail. We added an interpretive museum. We've added an experience where people can make their own pots. We've added the cafe we've put on site to keep the tourists here longer so that they will spend more. We added an antiques and collectibles centre, and that was to get locals to visit a lot more often. We've added artistic studios around the site so that it gives everyone a different experience and a reason for visiting. Being your own boss means you can do what you want when you want. There are lots of opportunities for anyone with the skills of making clay products to start their own business, start their own studio and make a living for themselves.
I'm Gary Googe. I work at the Bendigo Pottery. I'm a clay preparation person. I make up all the mixers, drive forklifts, bobcats. Well, when I was 15, my mum gave me a choice to go to year 11 or find a job. And come out here on the Monday, just put my name down, and they said start Tuesday. Been here since. I got my forklift licence when I was 18 and a half, and I think I got my bobcat when I was 30. We didn't have a bobcat here then, so we just used the old shovel. These days you have to go to class for 2 days to do all the bookwork, all the paperwork, all the safety part of it, all the maintenance of it, and then you have to go for a test. First of all, we tipped a white ball clay into a big bucket. We mix that all into a plunger, put water into the plunger, which stirs it up and mix it all up to a liquid form. All the clay gets pushed through a filter press. The water comes out of the filter press on the ground and hopefully leaves clay inside the filter press. And then we just open up the filter press about 4 hours later and you've got clay inside the filter press. I just reckon it's a good, comfortable job. It's hard in places. And just every day it's something different. You're always going to learn something different. And so I feel pretty special when I do see something like I made out in the world. I feel pretty good because I know I made that clay for that pot or glass or coffee cup or casserole. So I'm quite happy to say I made that. Yeah.
My name's Rob Henderson. I work in the factory at Bendigo Pottery and I use all sorts of different machines in the factory. What happens is an order comes in from a client, we then set the machines up and we start making that product. Basically my job is to make as many of those items as I can, depending on what the manager says to me as to how many we want and what type of product we want. Typical day for me in the factory would be working 3 different machines at once like I am today and trying to get as much product out as I can. So it's interesting, it's different. I basically started when I was an 8-year-old. My grandfather taught me to throw or make on the pottery wheel. I liked it, I liked working with the medium clay. and it just went from there. TAFE, Diploma of Ceramics, a 2-year course. Missed uni, got asked to work in a pottery studio, which then led to slip casting, pressing, things like that. Today, if I was a young person, I think there's still got to be production work because people still want that type of stuff. But it's changed in the last 40 years. You've had your basic colours, basic shapes, to now moving on into these art shapes that are all different colours. And if it was me, maybe work out what side of manufacturing you want to get into and head towards that. Some sort of business type education. I just think that if you can stay in school as long as you can, school's not for everyone, but if you can stay in school as long as you can and learn as much as you can, when you get out in that big world there, you mightn't think when you're at school it's not going to help you, but it can help you down the track and you don't realise it. So yeah, I think that's what I would do, for sure.
My name's Debbie, been here for 35 years. I'm what they class as a finisher. The pieces are made, they come to me, I clean them up, ready to be glazed. I sometimes find it quite cathartic, it's just relaxing. If I know what I'm doing that piece, it's just, I can do some things I can do without even thinking, which is a good thing because I've done it for so long. It's a very relaxed atmosphere out there. Everybody gets on, everybody walks past, have a bit of a dig at one person and then the other one dig back at you. So yeah, the people I think sort of keep me here as well as the work itself. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, I guess. I like to put my piece through and make sure if I put that through, that if it got to the other end I would buy that piece. It's just making sure that I've put through what I think is a good product and hoping that the end, when it gets to the end, it'll come out and someone will go, oh, that's nice, and enjoy it as much as I did. I love the pottery. I collect memorabilia from the pottery. So yeah, that's just something I've learned over the years that I've grown to love, is the history of the place, the different pieces that have come through, the people that have gone through. There's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in that 35 years that have come and gone, and I'm still here.
My name's John Shank. I've been here quite a few years, 35 years. My main job is maintenance in the factory, and I make moulds and make pots in moulds. A lot of the clients come in just with a plate and they want 1,000 of them made, so we've got to make a mould off the outside of it. Then we'd have to have something to turn the inside of them, which would be a piece of steel. I was always interested in mechanical work and motorbikes and things, and so it just went on from there. A lot of the stuff out there isn't stuff I've made, and yeah, but when you're using something you've made, it's good. I went back to school just part-time and got me welding licence and a few other things, so then I started doing other things in the workplace. So got a D electrical licence, so you can do electrical work and that. The most satisfying thing about getting something running is it's old, and yeah, keeping it running and without having to replace it. So yeah, it's quite satisfying.
I'm Jenny, and I primarily am the glazer. I make glazes. A glaze would be the shiny coloured stuff on the outside of a pot, all the different colours. So it goes on raw, then it gets fired, and that's when it gets its beautiful colours. I started work at 16 at another pottery called Cooper and Cook Ceramics. I worked there for 10 years, had children, then came back to work here. I'm one of the babies. I've only been here 21 years, so I'm one of the newbies. I left school to help my mum because she'd had a triple bypass done. So I left school to help mum. I didn't want to work in a factory all my life. Back then, I didn't know what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. I wasn't bad at school. I mean, I might have been naughty, but I wasn't bad. I think the hands-on pottery is going to be a thing of the past. Engineering, like make machines that can do what we do. I think the future of pottery lies in the hands of the young, their visual design, their engineering skills. Like pottery could be made with a 3D printer. I like the traditional glaze colours, like the Waverley colour, which is the brown and the green together. We're working on some new colours at the moment, a light blue, green and yellow, which are the glazes which I've made. I've made those colours up myself, but that took quite a while to get the colours right, to get to the specific colour that they wanted. A lot of times it doesn't work, like it takes a lot of testing and a lot of different weights, different amounts of glaze, colour, stain, the fluidity of the glaze. There's just a lot of aspects to get it just right. And then on the kiln itself, it has hot and cold spots. So a piece will be, you can put a piece in a hot spot and a cold spot and they'll come out a different colour. Yeah, it's just a lot of work until you finally get it right. And then when you get it right, it's just seeing the product come off the kiln and knowing that it's actually worked. It's really good, it's fantastic when you finally got it right.
My name's Rowan Dawkins. I'm the production manager. I have been for near on 25 years, but I have been here 35 years. Yeah, I really enjoy my job and it's a lot of fun, and I look forward to coming to work every day. My basic daily job is to do all the scheduling in the factory. I also load and unload all the kilns, do all the quality control and help in dispatch, and that fills in my 8 to 10 hours a day pretty full. With my job I do a lot of different things in a day. I have to juggle the clay preparation and making, the scheduling of the machines, what we make in that day, keep an eye on the flow of the product through the factory. It becomes a habit, and you also enjoy coming to work, I think. Sometimes you don't look forward to it, but majority of the time you do. The most gratifying thing is to see things going out the door. Like two weeks previously, you got this piece of paper with numbers on it, and then in 2 weeks' time, you just see the product going out the door, and that is satisfying because a lot of work has gone into that process.
My name is Gay Jenkins and my primary roles here are tourism, so letting people know about Bendigo as well as about the pottery. I stock all the shelves and make sure that we have all of our product out the front, and retail, so selling of the product as well. I've worked in hospitality for quite a long time, so that gives you an understanding of dealing with people. So I worked for a long time at Pizza Hut. I was at Pizza Hut for 18 years. Then we moved down to the coast and we opened cottages and had B&B, as well as I worked in hospitality down there. And then I moved back up here, and after a stint in a supermarket, I went to a debt collector's office. That was out of the public eye, so I didn't enjoy that as much as being involved with the public.
Anything that I can help you with, or
It's new people all the time, so Yeah, lots of new experiences and lots of new people that you deal with all the time. It all comes down, I think, to just having a nice relationship with the person that you're dealing with at the counter, and you get to listen to where they've been, so you share your tourist stories. So yeah, that's nice. And Bendigo I love Bendigo as a city, so I like to share some of my joy about the city with them. So it's interesting to come to work, it's interesting to learn new things, and it just makes for a more well-rounded, enjoyable lifestyle, I think.
My name's Scott Wyman. I am employed here at Bendigo Pottery as a production potter, and I also take lessons for tourists. Most days I'll go and see the production factory manager at the start of the day, and he will tell me when I'm working up the front on the pottery wheel what to make for the pottery. And I find the creativity that you can do with it, actually using your hands to actually create something from a lump of clay. And it's very satisfying when people actually buy your work. Here at Bendigo Pottery, whenever I make something at the pottery, I get the accreditation of my initials go on the bottom of the pots. So when I pass, I've obviously left something in the world. You know, that's where my kids or my great grandkids, if they ever come here one day, can say, oh, that was my dad, he worked here, and they'll have some of my work when I was actually working here at the pottery. When I was 17, I went to university and I majored in what they call a Bachelor of Visual Arts. So I actually majored in ceramics and studied ceramics for 3 years. I also have my own studio practice where I work in my own studio at home and make my own pottery. I'd be a lot more creative. I sort of make more one-off pieces of artwork than mass producing like I do here at work. So that's where I can ask a little bit more money for them because they're more of a one-off piece of art. I find in the art industry to become well-known and successful, it takes a lifetime. It's something that just doesn't happen, but it's a passion. I've got the passion, it's something I wanted to follow and pursue. I've done other jobs, but then it makes me appreciate what I actually can do.
They say the clay gets in the blood. I get more from work with the enjoyment and the satisfaction of seeing a difference being made from the efforts you put in each day. The most satisfying thing about what I do is seeing the product go out to a customer. I guess the pride in the quality of what we are making really makes me proud.